Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with my beautiful wife, Karina from Venezuela. It's 6 p.m. Central Time here in the Panhandle of Florida. It is time for the K1 Visa Green Card live stream where you can ask me all the questions you want about processing green cards and K1 visas. I have 12 and a half years, I guess 12 and a half years of experience doing this. I've helped hundreds of people get their green cards and their K1 visas. Hundreds. I can do this process in my sleep, but I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't work for USCIS, and I don't give you any legal advice. You don't need an immigration attorney to process a green card application or a K1 visa application. You don't need an immigration attorney to process a spousal visa. Really, the paperwork is easy. This is what, 13 pages to the I-129F, I believe, 24 pages for the green card application. And then when you go to lift the conditions off your green card, your 2-year green card, you're going to apply for your 10-year green card. You can do it online for $700 or $750 by using the paperwork, using the paper trail. I recommend using the paper trail. If you need help with your green card application, if you need help with your 2-year green card, 10-year green card, lifting the conditions, etc., I'm here to help you. I can do this in my sleep. I can fill out an I-129F, taking a nap in a lounge chair while on the beach here in beautiful Florida. Well, not so much on the beach now because it is November 17th, 2025, so it's a little bit cold. Miguel, what's up, Diego and Karina? Wife had her Social Security appointment today. Well, great. Updated her name and status. There you go. Very important. When you get to the United States of America and you get your I-94, you arrive in America, the K1 visa becomes obsolete, and then you get an I-94 from the Customs and Border Patrol. You get home, you unpack your suitcase, you rest up a couple of days, you print 6 copies of your I-94. You put 1 copy of the I-94 in the glove box of the car. You put 1 in your purse, 1 in your back pocket. And then you're going to bring a copy of your I-94 to the Social Security Administration with your passport and your K1 visa, and you're going to apply for a Social Security card. Now, if you are female, the Social Security card is going to be mailed to you with your maiden name. Don't worry about that. What you need right away is the Social Security number. It's irrelevant that your maiden name is on the Social Security card. It doesn't matter. What you need is the number. So you get the Social Security number, and then you go and get a joint bank account, right? You go get a joint bank account with your American citizen sponsor, husband or wife, whatever the case may be. And then when you get your green card in your hand, you're going to apply for your 2-year green card, okay? It gets mailed to your house after your green card interview, the scary green card interview. You're going to get a green card mailed to your house. You're going to go back to the Social Security office with your green card and say, I want to change my status to legal permanent residence. The lady or gentleman at the Social Security office will look at your green card and document the information in the computer, mail you a new Social Security card with your married name on it. You get a new card with your married name on it. Your Social Security number does not change. But all that verbiage on there that says cannot work without permission from Homeland Security, all that verbiage goes away, and you get a brand new Social Security card with your married name, if you're female, okay? So Miguel, sounds like that's just what you did, right? You updated her name and status as a legal permanent resident. So I'm going to assume she has a green card already, Miguel, right? I'm usually pretty good at getting everything correct. I haven't made a mistake yet on this channel. Yes, sir, look at that. Look at that. Now, Karina's going to pat me on the back. Me and more Karina. See that? She's going to pat me on the back because I'm never wrong. This channel has to be 100% correct. Okay? When somebody asks me a question like Miguel, and he says, yes, sir, you know me like a book, LOL. Actually, I know the USCIS process like a book. I should write a book on how to process a green card, because I can do this in my sleep. That's why you guys are on the channel. I got my Colombia hat on, by the way. Our landlord, when I was living in Colombia with Karina, our landlord bought me this hat as a going away gift because we rented an apartment from him for like 3 years. Larry Piercy on board. Welcome, Larry. And Moggy says hi. Hi, Moggy.
Hi,
What's going on, Moggy? Now listen, you purchased what? The bull cap? The Colombian bull cap? Well, I'm not going to sell these, okay? But today I purchased the domain name for Karina's website for her coffee company, where she's going to be selling coffee. Oh, the book. You purchased the book, Miguel. Yeah. I could write a book on how to process a 2-year green card, how to process a K-1 visa. You know, I would write a book that is so simple for people to understand that you wouldn't even need to go to the USCIS website for help. You just read my book and boom. But I'm not an immigration attorney, don't forget. Okay, but I've been doing this for 12 and a half years. And but I got the domain name for Karina's website purchased, and I'm in the process of building her website for her coffee company, and it will go live in January. Right now it's November 17th. In January, or first week of January, I'll publish the website. I gotta debug it first, make sure there's no mistakes in it. Douglas Olson, we always listen but rarely participate. That's okay, you don't have to participate. I just want you to learn how to do this. But we want you to know how much your efforts are appreciated. Thank you. No worries, Douglas. Look, I know I was here in Florida. Karina was in Colombia. We were separated for about a year, okay? And it sucks being separated from your family that you want to be with, the person you love. It's tough. So I spent almost 3 years in Colombia because I didn't want to be separated from Karina. So, you know, I understand. Alamehu Mekonen. Hi, Diego and Karina. Still waiting for the National Visa Center to receive my fiance's K-1 approval. It takes about 3 months. However, I got laid off from work. What shall I do? Look for another job. In 2 weeks, I expect the NVC to receive the K-1 from the USCIS. You got laid off. It's not your fault. Go find another job. Go find another job. You got time. You can do it. Okay, so because here's the deal, right? The NVC is going to receive the K. So the K-1 visa got approved. So you got your NOA-2 letter. Your Notice of Action 2 letter was mailed to you. You got a K-1 visa approved. Then it's going to get mailed to the National Visa Center. Now, what country? I can't remember. LMAO, McKinnon. Remind me what country your fiance is in. In Ethiopia, that's correct. So she's going to go to the interview, the secure visa interview. I believe it's Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. But between now and the NVC getting your approved K-1 visa, you need to find another job. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to need a joint sponsor to cover you on the income to get her into the United States and also for the green card. Okay? But I got faith in you. I know you can find another job, LMAO. You can do it. Francois. Good evening, Diego and Karina. Francois Livingston in upstate New York. Now, Francois is in upstate New York where it gets very cold in the wintertime. So hopefully it's not getting very cold right now. I hope it's not. Because we want you to stay nice and warm with Hamid. Hamid's, you've been married for a year now, right, Francois? Your 1-year anniversary was just a few days ago. So you're on a roll. Hamid's getting to experience his second winter in upstate New York. I bet he's going to make a snowman out in the backyard. Miguel, my favorite parts of the book would be in the parts of the scary visa interview. Yeah, and the waiting and the waiting and the waiting. I don't know. Maybe I should just write a book on how to do this, and then give it away. I don't know. I'll think about it. I got nothing else better to do, right? Alamehu Mekonen, thank you. I will find one. a job, that is. Yes, you can do it. You're going to find a better job than the last one you had, making more money, right? There's plenty of jobs out there. Where do you live? What state do you live in? And I mean, every state in the union is hiring people pretty much, except probably California, because everybody's leaving California. Businesses are leaving California because the place sucks when you're trying to do business. Trying to do business in California, it sucks for capitalists and entrepreneurs. So they're all leaving. Elon Musk left California. Chevron refinery is leaving California. The list is endless. Cecilia Villaverde. Hi, Diego and Karina. My interview is coming up at the U.S. Embassy in Tokyo. Now, remember, there are 2 U.S. embassies in Japan. One in the North Island, one in the South Island. So you're going to be going to Tokyo for yours. So we're going to give a Mountain Dew salute. See that? It's a baby Mountain Dew. I should do a big Mountain Dew. Where's the big Mountain Dew? That's a Mountain Dew salute. And we're going to put, everybody knows what I'm going to put on Cecilia's interview, right? MAGA Pixie Dust. The K1 Visa interview green card super lucky 2025 Pixie Dust. And that's going to be all over that interview. So you'll be good to go. Francois, one happy anniversary year. Yeah. In January, Corinne and I closing in on 2 years. Can you imagine? Can you believe that? Mm-hmm. Where did the 2 years go? We've been married 2 years in January 14th. We got married on the beach here in Florida. And Karina's like, look at the beach here. It's beautiful. Yeah, you used to play. I bet you it was cold. It was cold in January. Alameo McKinnon in Virginia, outside Washington, D.C. Well, it's safe to walk around Washington, D.C. now. The National Guard went in there and cleaned it out. Now go take a trip to Washington and have some fun there because it's a great place, historic. Go watch the new ballroom that's being constructed in the former location of the East Wing of the White House. Now they're building a ballroom. It's going to be pretty neat. I can't wait to see it. So, like I said, I've been doing this green card processing for years, okay? Originally, the channel was a cooking channel. Then I turned it into a Exploring Colombia channel. Then Karina and I, we decided to make it, was Karina's idea, we turned it into a immigration channel for free advice to help you, okay? Karina's from Venezuela. And I tell you, it was a nightmare because Karina's passport expired when we were in Colombia. So we had to renew her passport, renovar tu pasaporte. So Karina had to go back to Venezuela. And talk about scary stuff. Because I'm on the border of Venezuela. Right on the border of Venezuela. And I'm like, bye, Karina. Karina leaves. She left Colombia, went into Venezuela to get her new passport. So she goes all the way into Venezuela to get her passport renewed. And then when she got there, there was no electricity. There was no internet. That's how much it sucks in Venezuela right now because of Maduro. So there's no electricity. So Karina came back across the border to Colombia, and I'm in the hotel. And I'm like, where's your passport? She said, I couldn't get it because there's no freaking electricity. So I said, okay, here's $100. Go back tomorrow. Cash is king, right? The currency in Venezuela is the US dollar. Because the Bolivar is useless, it's worthless, thanks to the communists. So Karina went back to Venezuela the next day, crossed the border. I watched her, I say goodbye. I'm looking at her crossing the border back into Venezuela. She goes back to the office and they have electricity. But they tell her, you're going to have to reschedule your appointment, which is another 6 months. And Karina remembered what I told her about cash is king in Venezuela. And that cash got her the passport that day, right? So then Karina came back to Colombia with her brand new shiny passport. That's good for 10 years. And I was like, there we go. And my foot was this close to the border of Venezuela. I'm like, this close, you know? I could see the Colombian immigration were looking at me, but I was wearing clothes that were Colombian. So I looked like a Colombian, and I was speaking Spanish, so I was posing as a Colombian. I could have probably entered Venezuela with Karina, but I'm not Venezuelan, I'm not Colombian, I'm American. So that would have been a very bad idea. So I stayed about 100 feet off the border and then just prayed that Karina made it back safely with her passport. And she got it. Then that was the passport that we gave to the U.S. Embassy for her K-1 visa. Okay? So her passport's good for 10 years. So like Miguel says, soon it will be safe in Venezuela too, right? Yeah, 22% of the U.S. Navy is sitting off the coast of Venezuela right now. That's a lot of firepower, including the USS Gerald R. Ford, an aircraft carrier, the biggest aircraft carrier in the world. There is so much firepower on that aircraft carrier that if I was Maduro, I would be moving to Russia right now, because his days are limited in Venezuela, along with this little group of communist dictators, his little generals. Now Maduro used to be a bus driver. How in the heck he became president of Venezuela is beyond our comprehension. Even Karina's like, I don't know how that happened. We certainly didn't, Karina didn't vote for him, and her mom and all of her family didn't vote for him. Nobody really voted for this guy. So hopefully Venezuela will become a free country soon, and then the U.S. Embassy will open up, and then that way the beautiful people of Venezuela can process their K-1 visas at the U.S. Embassy in Venezuela, not have to fly into Bogota, Colombia. And that's going to free up the workload at the U.S. Embassy in Bogota, Colombia, which means that they can process more visas for Colombians, which means the process will speed up in Bogota, Colombia for K-1 visas and for spousal visas. But the U.S. Embassy in Bogota does handle Curacao also. Miguel, make Venezuela great again. Absolutely. Yes, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. Maduro is wetting his underwear right now, because he knows that he's got a choice. He can move to Russia or something else. And we all know what the something else is going to be, because we know how President Trump deals with these terrorists. He takes care of business, right? So yes, let's make Venezuela great again. We want to see Senor Fernando. Senor Fernando needs to come back from Spain, back to Venezuela, and become president of Venezuela, because he was elected president. Senor Armando Gonzalez, who is the real president of, and Marco Rubio, our Secretary of State, he's the guy that controls all the embassies around the world. He doesn't recognize Maduro as a legitimate president. Now, Marco Rubio is a good guy. His family's from Cuba. He don't put up with this communist crap either. So we're going to make Venezuela great again, as in the United States Navy and the Marine Corps. Miguel, did you hear about Bolivia, Diego? Making Bolivia great again. Yes, Bolivia had an election. Okay, they got rid of the communists, and they elected freedom-loving entrepreneurs. I'm not going to say they're Republicans. I'm going to say they're conservative. But Bolivia is now a free country. The commies were kicked out of office. Now, Bolivia is a country that's landlocked. Okay, what I mean by that is they have no ocean front. They've got no beaches in Bolivia. It's totally landlocked between Ecuador and South American countries. But Bolivia was named after Simon Bolivar, who was the great liberator of South America. Simon Bolivar kicked the Spanish out of South America and liberated Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Ecuador, Bolivia. All these countries were liberated by Simon Bolivar in this big battle in just north of Bogota, Colombia. There was this big battle. And the Spanish, they started waving their white flags like this. Like Maduro, he's going to be waving his white flag very soon. So Bolivia is a free country. And that's making it easier for me to help people process their K-1 visas who are from Bolivia. Because the U.S. Embassy can sigh of relief. They took a big sigh of relief. The U.S. Embassy in Bolivia is like, man, the communists are out of here. We can go to the store without bodyguards now. You know, Bolivia, I want to take Karina there in the future. But first I want to go to Venezuela. But first we got to get Karina her U.S. citizenship. And that will be soon. Miguel, can't wait, LOL, for Venezuela's freedom. Nah, I think that Venezuela is going to be free before Christmas. December 25th, the birth of Jesus Christ, that was the day. Before that, Venezuela is going to be a free country. And Maduro is going to be celebrating Christmas in Moscow with Assad, the former president of Syria, who ran to Russia. Because what happens when Venezuela becomes a free country, we can kick all the communist Chinese out of there. We can kick the Russian communist Russians out of there. And the Iranians, I'm not saying that people are bad. The Iranian people are great. Russian people are great. So are Venezuelans. The problem is the government. So we're going to kick the government influence that's bad out of our backyard under the, I can't remember the name of the doctrine, but there's a doctrine that says that we control our backyard. That's why Trump renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, because it's our backyard. I just can't remember the name of the doctrine. If you know, write it down there. But the good news is Karina's friends in Venezuela, they're all these experts in website design too. So I'm going to talk to them, you know, but we got to wait for this. We got to wait for Venezuela to become a free country. But it's much easier for me now to process K1 visas for folks in Bolivia. And I know when Venezuela gets free, it's going to be easier for me to help people from Venezuela. You know, look how pretty Karina is. See her so beautiful. Isn't she so pretty? She's beautiful. My wife. My dad was right. My dad said the women in Venezuela are beautiful. He's right. I married one. But it's a pain in the butt going through all the paperwork with the Venezuelan politics. Larry Piercy, sovereignty, I think is the word. There's a doctrine. Sovereignty, I don't think it's sovereignty, Larry, but there's a doctrine for South America that says that we control the backyard of South America, as in we don't let bad governments get a root in there. Like Maduro is he's an illegitimate president. Okay, like Cuba. It would only take probably one detachment of Marines to liberate Cuba from those communists. One detachment could do it in a weekend. But we're not going. But I don't. You know. Let's see. Larry Piercy, the FAFO doctrine. Right, that's Trump's doctrine, which is working really good right now, especially for people in the United States who tried to destroy Trump's presidency. They're experiencing the FAFO. But there's a doctrine in South America that was signed 100 years ago that says that the presidents of South American countries and Central American countries all understand that the United States is basically their dad, right? But I can't remember what it's called. The Monroe Doctrine. I'll type it right here. I knew I was going to get it. The Monroe Doctrine. Right here. Look it up. Look up the Monroe Doctrine. Good news for those who have just joined the channel. Karina, she now has her domain name for her website. So she's going to have her Karina Ross coffee website kicking out here in January. I've just got to finish building the website. And I did pretty good today. I started working on it at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm on here working on a website for Karina. And we're going to get it done. And then T-shirts also. If you guys want any T-shirts, I can make any T-shirt you want. Because when we started Karina's Coffee Company, we started it actually in Bogota, Colombia. Then we went to a coffee farm and worked on a coffee farm and learned how to do this. And while we were in Colombia, we built this coffee company. So it took us 3 years to get to this point. But now we needed T-shirts, with Karina Ross Coffee Company T-shirts. And it costs a lot of money for a T-shirt. So I started a T-shirt company so I can make the T-shirts here for half the price. Anyway, so if you guys want any T-shirts, if you are a member of this channel, You have my email address. If you want a t-shirt made up, just email me what you want and I can make it for you at the members price, not the retail. So let's see here. What day is it today? November 17th, 2025. It's 6:25 p.m. Central Time. It's pretty warm today here in Florida. We had a warm day. It was pretty warm last night, so we had to turn the ceiling fan on because it was pretty warm in the house, which is pretty good for for November. It's almost December. I had to fix my front teeth. The cement came loose on my front teeth, so I had to get them re-cemented. I mean, what a pain that was. So now my front teeth are back in operation, which means I can talk again and do a live stream. So I had to miss a couple of live streams while I waited for my teeth to get fixed. It's amazing. You need teeth to speak, not just to eat with. You need teeth to grind your food, right? You need teeth to talk. It's hard to pronounce some words if you don't have front teeth. Imagine that. But it is what it is. It's a learning experience, and it's all good. If you want me to put your green card package together, I can do that. If you are a member of this channel, I can help you. Just screenshot me the paperwork that you need help with. If you need me to help you with a K1 visa application, and if you're a member of this channel, you can call me, text me, and email me, and I can help you do it. I've basically saved about 10 people from really messing up their K1 visa applications. One person I saved from losing his green card because his wife, bless her heart, was in such a big hurry to process his 2-year green card application that she messed up the affidavit of support paperwork. She filled it out completely wrong. Okay. When you mess up the affidavit of support, which is Form 485, that's the application for your 2-year green card, which goes with the 864, the affidavit of support. Excuse me. If you mess up any one of those forms when you apply for your 2-year green card, if you make any mistakes, your green card is going to get denied now. It's not going to be, here's an RFE. You need to learn how to add and subtract. You couldn't calculate the family size correctly on your affidavit of support. Family size. Family size. Okay? You got to know what the family size is on the affidavit of support on the 864. So the first person is how on that form, the first group of people are the people that you brought to America. So if you just brought one person to the United States, it's going to be one, right? Then you're going to be including yourself, Mr. Sponsor, right? So that equals what? 2, right? So the family size is going to be 2 for a basic calculation. But if you brought a K2 over, then the top line is going to be 2, which is going to be the K1 and the K2, plus the sponsor. So, and that's going to equal a family size of 3, right? Plus the sponsor, plus 1, equals, golly, come on, dude, equals 3. Larry Pearson, you think they will be that hard on the adjustment of status for 10 years? No, because you don't have to calculate a family size on a 10-year green card. The 2-year green card is the most critical part of this whole process. The 10-year green card has to be filed within 90 days of expiration. Within 90 days of expiration. I can't even spell. But my eyesight's doing pretty good, actually. Within 90 days of expiration, okay? So when you lift the conditions off of a 2-year green card, the 2-year green card is temporary. It doesn't get renewed. It doesn't. You do not renew a 2-year green card. It goes away and becomes like an obsolete computer. Okay. What happens to a 2-year green card is if you don't lift the conditions off of it, it becomes obsolete, and then your beneficiary is going to get a deportation letter. You're going to go in front of a judge, an immigration judge, and get deported. But what you do with when you lift the conditions is you're going to file form right here, 751. So you're going to file form 751 to lift the conditions off your 2-year green card within 90 days before it expires. And you're going to load up on a lot of evidence on your marriage over the last 2 years. So we've been married almost 2 years. We have a ton of evidence that we're going to submit in March of 2026 for Karina's 10-year green card. Now, how long does it take to get a 10-year green card? 21.3 months. As of November 2025, it's taken 21.3 months to get a 10-year green card adjudicated. What do I mean by that? That's when immigration is going to actually look at your paperwork. After 21.3 months, they're going to look at the paperwork and say, okay, let's adjudicate this to a 10-year green card. But before that, you're going to get a letter, okay, from immigration extending your 2-year green card. Okay? For 48 months. Oh, there we go. This is what's going to happen. So you file for the 10-year green card. You know there's going to be a long freaking wait until you get adjudication, 21.3 months. Don't panic, because you're going to get a letter from NOA and from the USCIS extending your 2-year green card for 48 months. So what do you do with that letter? You put it with the 2-year green card. You don't have to turn in your 2-year green card. You've got your 2-year green card. It's expired, but you have a letter from immigration saying it's been extended for 4 years. You attach that letter with the 2-year green card and carry it wherever you go. Everywhere you go, you carry it with you. So if you're driving with your husband and he gets pulled over by the sheriff because he's speeding, and you're a passenger in the car as a green card holder, and the sheriff needs to identify you, you've got either your U.S. driver's license or you have your green card. And the green card's going to be expired, but you have your letter of extension with the green card. Make sure you carry your green card and your letter of extension with you everywhere you go. You go to the gym, you go to the store, you go to work out, you go walking around the barrio, you go for a walk around the block with your husband. Carry your freaking green card with you. Okay? There was a guy in New York City, 10-year green card holder. He'd been in America for 20-some years. He's walking down the street. I think it was on 34th Street near the Empire State Building. And there something happened in the street. And immigration was doing something there. They were raiding a business, I believe. And he got caught up in that because he was outside of the store, and he got caught up in it. And the immigration officer, the ICE officer, said, I need to see your green card, sir. And he said, I've been in America for 25 years. I have a 10-year green card. I just don't have it with me. It's up in my apartment. And my apartment is in on 25th Street or something like that. I can't remember exactly. So he got fined $130 by ICE because he didn't have his green card with him. And he's been in the United States for 25 years. He's a green card holder, but he didn't have his green card with him on his person. He got fined $130. And it became a mark on his immigration record. Misdemeanor, failure to present green card when requested by immigration. So the immigration officer goes in his computer, on his laptop, in his car. They got these ICE cars, the Homeland Security cars. He goes in his computer and types in there, so-and-so didn't present his green card to me, fine $130. So he has to go to a judge, go pay the $130, prove his green card is good, but he has a mark on his record. Why he hasn't become a U.S. citizen after living in the United States for 25 years is beyond me. When Karina has been in the United States 3 years plus, she's going to be applying for U.S. citizenship. Then when you become a U.S. citizen, then we're going to get her a U.S. passport. Then we're hoping Venezuela's a free country and we can go to Venezuela, go see her mom, go see her sister and her family who's slowly trickling back to Venezuela from Colombia. When you marry an American citizen, you are eligible for U.S. citizenship 3 years from the issue date on your 2-year green card. So look at your 2-year green card, add 36 months to that issue date, and that's when you're eligible for U.S. citizenship. Okay? Now you're going to say, well, I applied for my 10-year green card and my 2-year green card's expired. I don't have my 10-year green card. All I have is a letter from immigration saying my 2-year green card has been extended for 48 months. Well, after 3 years, even if you don't have your 10-year green card, you go online, you fill out form N400, you pay the fee, apply to become a U.S. citizen. Then when you go to your citizenship interview and you pass, hopefully you pass the history test and the civics test and the English test, you bring your expired 2-year green card and your letter, which extended your 2-year green card 48 months, with you to the U.S. citizenship interview. Then the immigration officer can then go in the computer and adjudicate your 10-year green card right there on the spot. But if you become a U.S. citizen, then it's irrelevant. You don't need the 10-year green card. You become a U.S. citizen. You wait for your swearing-in ceremony, wherever that may be. You go to your swearing-in ceremony. You get sworn in as a U.S. citizen. You turn in your expired 2-year green card plus the letter of extension, and you get a naturalization certificate. You become a naturalized American. Then what you're going to do is apply for a U.S. passport. Register to vote. You can register to vote. I don't care what your politics are, but you can register to vote. Okay? And then you don't have to worry about immigration anymore. Once you become a U.S. citizen, all this paperwork goes away. The only thing you got to do is protect your naturalization certificate and keep it in a safe place and don't freaking lose it. Because if you lose your naturalization certificate, it's going to cost you $500 to get a new one. I think it's $500 right now. So don't lose it. Put it in a safe place. Okay? But remember, when you become a naturalized American, you don't lose your alien registration number. You will always have your alien number for the rest of your life. But you are a U.S. citizen. You can run for office if you want. You just can't run for president. Okay? It's a huge benefit to become a citizen. You don't have to worry about immigration anymore. You can leave. If you want to go on vacation to the Philippines for 6 months or a year, you can do that as a U.S. citizen without worrying about getting interrogated coming back into the United States. Well, if you leave the United States right now with a 2-year green card for 6 months for 180 days, you're going to have a heck of a job trying to get back in the country. If you leave the United States on a 2-year green card for a year, you are going to be banned from re-entering the United States. And your husband is going to have to refile for a brand new K-1 or a spousal visa. Now, I-130. Your 2-year green card will be terminated if you leave the United States longer than 365 days. You're going to have a heck of a job if you've gone 180 days. So my advice to you is this. When you get your 2-year green card, don't go anywhere. Travel within America. Go see the Grand Canyon. I took Karina to see the Grand Canyon. We went to Arizona. We went to a town where they filmed the movie Cars. Well, they got the idea for the movie Cars, the Disney movie Cars. Karina's been to Arizona. She's been to Las Vegas, Nevada, Pahrump, Nevada. She's been to Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, Texas. She's been in a lot of places. America's a big place. Don't go anywhere except within the United States of America. When you get your 10-year green card, it's probably a little bit more safer to travel internationally, but even then I don't recommend it. When you get your U.S. citizenship, become an American, get your U.S. passport, then you go see grandma. Hey grandma, sorry I've been gone for so freaking long. but I'm covering my status. Abduli Jallo. Hey, Diego, greetings to you, watching from Florida. Welcome. I will be getting married upcoming Thursday. I came with K1 visa. Well, let's see here. Mountain Dew salute. Mountain Dew salute to Abduli Jallo, getting married, guys. And you came in on the K1 visa, and if I remember, I helped you quite a bit get your K1 visa. I think I walked you through the entire process pretty much. It was pretty interesting process, right? The K1 visa application, the I-129F, filling out all the paperwork, going to the secure visa interview, waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, right? Now, I've got this membership set up on this channel where it's $9.99 a month. I don't need your money. I don't want your money, but that's the only way I can keep a track of who's got the cell number, our cell number, and email address. Because as a member of this channel, you'll get my cell number, Karina's phone, and my email address where you can call me, text me, and email me all your questions any day you want, 7 days a week. I got nothing else better to do. Okay? Yesterday, somebody called me at 10 o'clock at night from Bogota, Colombia. I got a call from Bogota, Colombia. Hey, Diego, I'm with my beneficiary. Should I get her vaccinations here in Bogota or wait till we get to the United States? I told him get all the vaccinations done in Bogota because it's half the freaking price. And once you get to the United States, you're going to be too busy doing 2-year green card paperwork to be worried about freaking vaccinations. If you are in a country where you can get access to the vaccinations required for the 2-year green card, get all your vaccinations done in the country you are in. Karina got all hers done in Colombia. And we were missing one at the medical exam. I accompanied Karina to her medical exam in Bogota, and she was missing one vaccination. The doctor said, you can get it done here, or you can get it done in the United States. Where do you want to do it? And Karina asked me the question in Spanish, what should I do? I said, get it done. Here's my credit card. Go freaking pay for it. $25. So she was completely done with all her vaccinations in Colombia. So when we got to the United States, I repeated the medical exam for her and recertified her vaccinations, but we didn't have to get any vaccinations. They were all done. So what happens when you get to America on your K1 visa, listen, Abduli, when you get to America, well, you're already done. But now you're getting married Thursday, make sure you repeat your medical exam, okay, before you file for your 2-year green card. Make sure you apply. Make sure you get a repeat medical exam done, which is Form 693, okay? And recertify your vaccinations and include that in your green card application once you get married. And don't forget to include a certified copy of your marriage certificate, okay? Miguel, how long does it take to get a citizenship from the time of applying? It takes about 4 months. It's 4 to 5 months to get U.S. citizenship after you apply. So you go online, you fill out Form N400. This is for U.S. citizenship. Okay, I'm typing it. I'm not ignoring you guys. N400. Apply for U.S. citizenship. Takes about 4 to 5 months, and then you get a letter, an appointment letter to go to your U.S. citizenship interview. You're going to have to take a test on the U.S. government and civics, the history of our country. There's 128 questions. There's 128 questions, okay? And out of those 128 questions, they're gonna pick 20, okay? Immigration officer's gonna pick 20 out of the 128, and you got to get 12 right to pass, okay? You understand what I'm saying here, right? You apply for U.S. citizenship. You go to the citizenship interview. You're going to get a test of 20 questions that are going to be picked out of 128 possible questions. You got to get 12 right. If you get 12 right, you pass. Okay? Then they go to the interview stage. They're going to ask you all different questions. You know? Thanks, Diego. Sounds good. No problem, Miguel. That's why I'm here. We are here to help you get through this. Did you notice most YouTube persons wear black t-shirts all the time? They always wear a black t-shirt or a black shirt. I started doing that. I started being a copycat. But I'm like, why? Why all these YouTubers all wearing black freaking t-shirts? So I wear this one. Pretty neat, right? Doesn't have to be a black t-shirt. Maybe I'll wear a pink t-shirt. I don't know, Rosario. And Chris rolling her eyes. No, I don't think so. Okay. This channel that we do for you in YouTube land out there around the world is to help you get your green card approved with minimal cost. An immigration attorney is going to charge you $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for the K-1 visa, and then repeat another $3,000 or $4,000 for the 2-year green card, and then to lift the conditions. You're looking at spending probably $15,000. That's crazy money. You could buy yourself a used Grand Marquis for that kind of money. A pretty good one too, right? If you hang out with Karina and Diego, we will get you through this green card process basically for free, unless you're a member of the channel. And then I'm going to squeeze $9.99 out of you, not because I want the money. I don't really want to take your money, but it's the only way that YouTube explained to me how to keep track of who's got the cell number and the email address, because the cell number and the email address are tied to the YouTube channel. And because they're tied to the YouTube channel, there's a bunch of computer hackers out there that could probably go in and do some harm to the channel. So I created a membership so I know who's got the freaking number and the email address. Okay? It's just about accountability, that's all. Otherwise, I wouldn't even charge for the membership. If I could do it for free, I would. Miguel, you guys have saved so much money. We've saved a bunch of money. So have you guys out there in YouTube land. We've saved you thousands of dollars. Thousands and thousands. I saved one guy at least $14,000 because his green card got denied. And he said he was going to hire an immigration attorney. And I said, no, don't do that. I'll help you. I'll do it. You're a member of this channel, right? Yeah, I'm a member of the channel. He was a member of the channel. He paid $9.99. And I saved him $14,000. The immigration attorney was sending him down the bad rabbit hole. The immigration attorney was sending him down a rabbit hole where he would have been kicked out of the United States and his wife would have been devastated. So I told him, don't hire that person. Call me on the phone and I will walk you through the process to save your green card. And he called me. He joined as a member. He called me up and I saved him from losing his green card. Why? Because I know how to do this. I know the ins and the outs of this. And I told him, listen, dude, it's not legal advice, okay? But I'm going to save you from losing your green card. And I saved him. He's happy as a clam. Abduli, thank you so much, Mr. Diego. I've been watching your channel since I was in the United Arab Emirates from 2023. Look at that. We have lots of people from the UAE. Beautiful country, but it's hot, right? The food is delicious in the United Arab Emirates. But the restaurants, they make fantastic Arabic food. But it's so hot there. And you were there in 2023 watching the channel all the way through 2025. It's almost 2026. Right around the corner. It's almost Christmas. Can't believe it. Where's the time going? I don't know where the time goes. Karina would have been in the United States 2 years on January 3rd of 2026, right? Enero 3 to aquí 2 años. And then in January 14th is our second anniversary. So I don't know where we're going to go for our wedding anniversary. ¿Dónde? New Orleans? She doesn't know. We'll go somewhere. I'll take her somewhere for our second wedding anniversary. And guess what? We're going to take bunches of pictures on our second anniversary trip. Married 2 years. That's a very good anniversary. So we'll go somewhere nice. We'll take a bunch of pictures. And guess what? Those pictures will go in her 10-year green card application. Right? All this evidence, you got to keep collecting it. Okay? When you apply for a K-1 visa, don't be hiring an immigration attorney. You don't be doing that. When you file for your K-1 visa, number one, make sure you're using the correct edition date of the form. Number two, watch the video I made on how to fill out an I-129F. Number three, make sure that you include at least 50 pictures with family and friends of your beneficiary. When I filed for Karina's K-1 visa, 80% of the pictures were with her family and her friends. 20% of the pictures were selfies. Like Mr. Bean does a selfie with the Polaroid Instamatic. 50 pictures, 80% family and friends, 20% selfies. When you are dating your beneficiary, you are dating each other. Use your credit card when you're buying dinners for your new husband or wife in the future, your fiance, and collect and keep all the receipts from when you go on dinner dates together. We probably went to every steak restaurant in Bogota, Colombia, including Peruvian restaurant. And we wanted to go to an Argentinian restaurant, but we couldn't. We were where? Where were we? We were in Villa de Leyva, but it was closed. Keep all the dinner date receipts. Send your beneficiary money once a month. Once a month, go to Western Union, send her $100 or him. Okay? Keep those receipts. Date each other for at least a year and a half. Make 2 trips to go see your beneficiary. Spend at least 3 months together in those 2 trips. So the first year, go for a month. Second year, go for a month. You got to prove the relationship is real. We got new people running immigration. Okay? New people. We have a new president. We have a new State Department. Everything's changed. So before you apply for your K-1 visa, make sure you have been dating each other for at least a year and you've got at least 2 trips under your belt to go see your beneficiary. You have a big engagement party in street clothes. Don't have an engagement party in cultural clothes. Well, you can have an engagement party in cultural clothes, like those countries in Africa, especially in Indonesia. They like to do in Morocco. They like to do the cultural clothes for the engagement. But don't include those pictures in the K-1 visa application because immigration might think you got married. Abduli Jallo, yes, Mr. Diego, following with this channel. Finally, I'm in the United States of America, Florida. There you go. I knew you could do it. So when you have an engagement party, we had an engagement party in Bogota. All her nieces and nephews, brothers came over, but we got pictures in regular street clothes. We didn't do the Colombian cultural thing, okay, or the Venezuelan. We did regular clothes like this, and we had an engagement party. And we had all this Venezuelan food. And Karina was making all this Venezuelan food with her brothers and sister-in-law, Andrea. Okay? And also when you get your K-1 visa approved, Mr. American Citizen Sponsor, Miss American Citizen Sponsor, you want to fly to the country where your beneficiary is the week of the scary visa interview. In Colombia, you can accompany your beneficiary to the interview, okay? But I couldn't. I was sick as a dog. I had the flu and mountain sickness, so I couldn't go to Karina's scary K-1 visa interview, but I could have if I wanted to. But I was sick. Karina told me to stay in bed, so I did. But you want to accompany your beneficiary back to the United States. Karina and I flew from Bogota, Colombia to Miami one way on Avianca. You can buy a one-way ticket once you get your K1 visa application in your when your K1 visa is in your passport. You can buy a one-way ticket, but if it's cheaper to buy a return ticket, buy the return ticket, get the discounted price, and then cancel it when you arrive in the United States. Okay? So you can save money that way. But you can buy a one-way ticket. People keep asking me, I got my K1 visa. I want to fly to America. Do I have to buy a round-trip ticket? No, you don't have to. Unless you want to, if it's going to save you some money. Okay, guys, I've been talking for 55 minutes, almost an hour. I'm getting a little peckish, a little hungry, a little thirsty. Tengo sed, tengo hambre, poco. Karina made me this fantastic dinner, salmon and broccoli. It was delicious. And but I want to get some milk, I think. Drink some milk. Mm-hmm. Today, I'm sorry I didn't do a live stream with you guys last time, but my front teeth, it wasn't good. I didn't have confidence in my bridge staying in my mouth. But now I'm good to go. So we're back, and Karina's here. Buen provecho, gracias Miguel. Linda noche. Disfruta tu día. Hoy es lunes. Mañana es martes. And disfruta tu día mañana en martes. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Regresa un miércoles. Thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We appreciate you guys joining as a member. Okay. Like I said, I don't like taking your money, but it's the only way I can keep track of who's got the phone number and the email address. Then that way, at least you can call me. Like the guy called me yesterday from Bogota, 10 o'clock at night. I guess there's a time difference, I think, or no? Is it 1 hour? There's 1 hour time difference. He called me up in an emergency with questions from Bogota, Colombia. And when it shows up on the phone, it shows up as member and then the person's name. And I said, hey, man, what's up? He said, hey, I got questions. I said, okay. And I solved a bunch of problems for him over the phone from Florida to Colombia. But I'll be back with Karina unless she's tired from her day job on Wednesday. Thanks for watching, guys.